I know this isn't my usual content, so if this video absolutely bombs, so be it. But this is interesting to me, and I absolutely love internet culture and its absurdity. If you go onto TikTok at the time of me writing this script, you likely won't be able to go 5 minutes without seeing a video about an 80s horror film called Zepotha. The entire platform is obsessed with this movie, and it's been making a very big resurgence. People discussing their favorite characters, the scariest scenes, sharing cosplays and outfit ideas, everything that fans typically do. However, Zepotha is not a real movie. It never existed, but the entire platform is pretending it does. The strangest thing about this entire situation is that this concept is almost entirely stolen from Tumblr's very own Goncharov, and is all a musician's successful marketing stunt rather than a genuine cultural phenomenon. So, what is Goncharov, what is Zepotha, and why does Zepotha feel so forced compared to Goncharov? A few years ago, this photo of some knockoff shoes was posted to Tumblr, along with the caption. I got these knockoff boots online, and instead of the brand name on the tag, they have the name of an apparently non-existent Martin Scorsese movie. What the fuck? In 2022, the post was reblogged along with a comment reading, "This idiot hasn't seen Goncharov." In typical Tumblr fashion, this post absolutely blew up 2 years later, and Tumblr latched onto the idea of a fake Martin Scorsese film, bringing it to life in their own unique way. Tumblr created an entire story surrounding the film's obscurity as well as giving the entire movie a plot. The movie, according to Tumblr, was released in 1973, directed by Martin Scorsese and written by Matteo JWHJ0715, a fictional character based on this absurd name from the Boots. The story goes that Goncharov was a forgotten, almost lost movie that was really hard to legitimately find. Supposedly, there were talks of a Goncharov sequel or remake. As for the actual content of the fake film, the movie focused on Goncharov, a mafia boss in Naples of Russian origin. Goncharov possibly fled Russia and is possibly being pursued by someone trying to get him back, typically depicted as Valery Misholov. Sorry for my butchering of that pronunciation. Valery is the sister of Goncharov's wife/fiancée, Katya. Her relationship with Goncharov is very tense and loveless, and she ends up betraying him in the end. Katya is friends with someone named Sofia, and the two supposedly share homoerotic subtext. There's also a character named Andrei, who also shares homoerotic subtext with Goncharov. There are a lot more smaller details about Goncharov, so I highly recommend looking into it yourself. The concept of the movie spawned hundreds of fan art, a theme song, a poster, several articles, and recognition from the brand Tumblr and Martin Scorsese himself. The fan art and fan content created for Goncharov is nothing short of impressive, and I recommend checking some of it out. What I love so much about Goncharov is that it's rooted in what all good internet phenomenons should be rooted in: a hilariously stupid image. Tumblr essentially played one big game of yes and ended up tricking thousands of people into believing that this was an actual movie. It was a product of the internet and is one of those stupid, unbelievable moments in internet history that you can't help but smile at. Unsurprisingly, someone would later attempt to recreate this strange occurrence in their favor, and that is how we've ended up with TikTok's very own Zepotha. Zepotha is another movie that never was, this time an 80s horror film that, according to TikTok, was extremely disturbing. The movie is supposedly hard to find because of a controversial inclusion of gay and transgendered characters. Rather than just being a site-wide improv game originating from a meme, Zepotha was purposefully orchestrated by musician Emily Jeffrey. We'll get more into them later. Zepotha started off with a TikTok from the aforementioned musician, reading, "Okay, so new bit idea, what if we created a fake 80s horror movie called Zepotha, and started commenting, OMG, you look exactly like that one girl from Zepotha. Or, wait, you look exactly like blank from Zepotha, on every thirst trap we see. Together we will witness new lore develop, main characters will emerge, etc. And we can convince thousands of people that this weirdly titled 80s horror film actually exists." So, you can likely imagine where things went from here. Hundreds of content creators were spammed with comments saying, "Oh, you look like this character from Zepotha," rather than paying attention to anything else. The best example of this would be an unaware person showing off this pretty dress, only to be flooded with comments talking about Zepotha. One notable thing about Zepotha is its lack of agreed-upon lore. I think the only things that are set in stone are a few characters, some scene names, and the aesthetic. Starting with the characters, the ones I've mainly seen and that are mainly spoken about are Elaine, the main character, Danny, the Billy Loomis-inspired antagonist, Maxine, I think, like, Elaine's ex-lover, Cole, I don't know much about him, and Rita. On the Google Docs, there's like 30 different characters, so I don't actually know which ones of these are supposed to be like actual confirmed characters in the lore, because this is all just extremely confusing. Some notable scenes include the chainsaw scene, the carnival scene, the forest scene, and the basement scene. As of writing this, I haven't found an agreed upon synopsis for any of these, but a lot of people do have different views of what these scenes could be. What everyone does seem to be in agreement of, however, is the aesthetic. Of course, being a 1980s horror film, there's a lot of stuff to work with here. Neon lighting, teenage and young adult romance, early slasher movies, and of course, 80s music. Now, the music is the most notable thing here. Remember the fact that this entire thing was created by Emily Jeffrey, a musician. And yes, one of her upcoming songs is typically associated with Zepotha. They posted things like, "This is so Zepotha-core," or "Anyone else getting Zepotha vibes?" And the sound is usually posted when talking about Zepotha, being TikTok's kind of unofficial theme song for the movie. This whole movement was made to market her upcoming album, which is themed around 80s music, and for the most part, it appears to be working, considering how often it's getting posted on these TikToks. So, all things considered, why does Goncharov work, and why does Zepotha not? Well, for one thing, Goncharov was never supposed to be some big thing, or supposed to create anything. It was just a stupid image and a stupid comment, and the entire website created something genuinely fun and creative. Zepotha, on the other hand, was created deliberately, and at that, was created specifically for marketing. Now, I'm not gonna pretend that Emily's music is bad. Actually, I quite like some of it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with this being the way they become discovered. But the thing that made Goncharov so fun was that it was contained. People would make their own posts about it, and other people would engage in conversation under those posts. These people didn't go onto unrelated posts and start talking about something completely different, the way that people are doing with Zepotha. I feel bad for people who just happen to post something that could tie into it. Some people are having fun with it, and I think that's great, but it feels a little bit corporate in some way. Not to mention the creator is literally asking for free advertising, essentially, on something she doesn't even have fully fleshed out. For the chance to get £500 to make a short Zepotha film. And, I don't know, something about this just feels really strange to me. The fact that filmmaking is such a tedious and delicate process, and that you'd want dozens of people to do it, where only one of the films will be rewarded in an amount that may or may not even make up for the money spent on it, is crazy. But what do I know? Regardless, thank you for watching, and thank you for your time. I made this video super quick just because the topic was interesting to me, and I wanted to get something to hold people over until my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Quinnamin, and I think it would be really funny if we convinced the internet that a YouTuber known as Quinnamin existed, when in reality he never actually did. Bye!